What I want to show you in this video is something that's really similar to what we did in class today with the brownie pans. So we want to be able to, you can keep drawing pictures for as long as you'd like, but I want you to see that we can also use another way to work with fractions and these kinds of problems that you might like even better. So here's an example where the goal is the whole, and in this case, this is 1/3, 2/3, so this is 3/3. And what they're showing you here is that they've reached 1/4 of this 2/3 section. So with that, then we'd have this part here has been broken into fourths, 4 equal pieces, and we can see those there. And just to keep it balanced, I'm also going to break that into the same equal sections. So we know that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this whole group. And that also lets us know that here that I have 1 out of that group of 6, or 1/6. So I'm going to write this down for us here. 1/4 of 2/3 equals 1/6. I'm going to take that same equation and put it on the next page, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit of a different way. So just like with the brownie pan today, you can see how these fractions are working together. Now I want to just look at the numbers to see if we can come up with another relationship we might be able to use. Anytime I hear the word of, not anytime, but pretty frequently in math, I know that this is telling me to multiply. So like if I have 1/2 of 100, that means 1/2 times 100. So let me write that down. 1/2 of 100 is the same thing as 1/2 times 100. Or if I find 1/3 of 15, that's the same thing as 1/3 times 15. So now what I want to do is go back to this equation. Well, we're going to turn it fully into an equation here. And I'm going to say to you, instead of doing it this way, I'm going to say 1/4, because now I know of for me like this means multiplication, times 2/3. And the really, really cool part about fractions is that when you multiply them, you just multiply straight across. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 3 is 12. And you can ask yourself, is that the same thing we got when we looked at that area model, that picture on the previous slide? And it is. 2 over 12 is the same thing as 1 over 6 when it's simplified. So this is really nice proof that this way of doing this works. So again, just to talk about it with this example, 1 times 2 was 2, 4 times 3 was 12. And I hope you notice there's no common denominators, there's nothing, straight across. Let's look at a couple more. Taking what we've seen on the last slide, now all I'm going to do is just like we did. I multiply straight across. 3 times 1 is 3, 5 times 2 is 10. So 1/2 of 3/5 is the same thing as 3/10. I'm going to put this in a picture just because I feel like this is so awesome. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 5 sections. And if I start out with 3/5, I went a little too far. If I start out with 3/5 and I'm only going to take half of that, then I'd have to divide this all into smaller pieces. And now you can see instead of having 5 sections, I have 10 sections, and I'm only going to take half of those green ones. So if I'm only going to take half of those green ones, instead of having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, now I'm only going to take 3. So I'm taking 3 out of 10, which is the same thing that we found. I can also see here that 1/2 times 3/5, 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 5 is 10. The reason why I picked this problem on purpose was that this problem here is the same thing as this problem here. All I did was just switch the order of the fractions, but I got the same exact answers. Which we know there's the commutative property of multiplication that lets me switch the order, and I get the same exact product or answer, which is so fantastic. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to be able to look at this other one with you. I'm going to multiply straight across. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. And then you, because you're so good at simplifying fractions, know that this also could become 1/2. This one I just want to show you because I'm using the word of here, and we've talked a little bit about this, but that of means multiplication. And I bet if I asked you what is 1/2 of 60, you would all say 30. So when I do this kind of problem, because it's 60 wholes, I say it's 60 over 1. And then I just multiply straight across. 1 times 60 is 60, 2 times 1 is 2, and 60 over 2 is 30. The only thing I'm going to ask you to think about, and I'm not going to explain it to you yet because I think you can think about this, is that what if I gave you something like this? What if I gave you a mixed number, like 1/2 times 1/2? What would I have to do there? So I'd really like you to be able to think about that. No stress, don't worry about it, but I want you to just sort of think about, what do you know? You know a lot about fractions. What could I do so I could use this new way of multiplying fractions to solve this problem? So we'll talk about this on Monday in class together. I hope you have a great weekend.